Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
Hey, welcome back to What's on Tap podcast. And for you that are listening for the first time, I'm your host, Stefan.
I am Martin.
And we do a weekly beer review podcast. Sometimes we do interviews, sometimes we play games. Not as often as we used to, but we'll get back around to that now that the COVID times are behind us.
The dark times.
The dark times. But what we are doing is we're continuing our low ABV beer episodes. So last time we did 0.5% ABVs or lower, and there was quite a selection of those.
Yeah.
And you can also find, I think, like 2.5 and 2.7 on the shelves, which I just skip over those because most of them aren't very good and there aren't that many of them.
No.
But then the next level is the 3.5. And in Sweden, the highest ABV you can buy in a supermarket is 3.5%.
Yes.
I think in Finland it's like 4.5 or 5%.
It's higher at least.
Yeah. I have no idea what Norway is, but I'm assuming Norway probably has some of the similar.
I think it's even higher there.
Yeah?
They call their monopoly Vinmonopolet, the wine monopoly, for a reason. But they have a lot of beers.
Right, but you can't go to like the grocery store and buy like a 6% beer. Probably.
Maybe not 6, but definitely higher.
Okay.
I remember I've been to a fishing trip to Norway, and we definitely bought like
beers at the grocery
like
store.
Regular beers.
At the 5. At a grocery store or convenience store or something.
Yeah.
Nice.
Maybe they were 4.9, all of them. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's difficult to remember now.
Yeah, it is, I think, Finland was like 5%, I think was the highest you could get. And they have quite a large, like a lot of their beers really maxed out at 5%. Yeah. So there was a lot to choose from at that level.
But here in Sweden, it's 3.5.
3.5.
You got a pretty nice.
And then Denmark, of course, they don't know what ABV limits are.
What is limit?
All right, so the first beer we have is from Onopolo, and it is called Stellaris, and it is a gluten-free Pilsner.
But I love gluten.
I do too.
Why did you take all my gluten?
I don't know. Is this made at the church now, or do we? I can't really read that. It's
I can try to read.
Super fine print on. Good luck with that.
Nope, the Proof Brewery.
The Proof? Okay.
Yep.
So it's still made at the old location.
In Belgium.
In Belgium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At this major manufacturing plant.
Exactly. Now this smells like a Pilsner.
Yeah, a little bit corn syrupy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's try it.
All right,
Cheers.
let's go. I like it. It's very light in color. It just looks like a Pilsner straight up.
Yeah, it tastes like a mild, kind of tasteless Pilsner.
Yeah, it's not great, but it definitely feels like a Pilsner. You're right.
They could definitely fool me if they said, this is a 4.5 ABV Pilsner that we put very little effort and ingredients into.
Yeah.
I would believe it.
Yeah. I think the carbonation is pretty good on this.
Yeah.
I think there's a bit of a, I don't want to call it sour or tartness, but there's a bit of an astringent-y kind of flavor kind of washes over the tongue.
It kind of tastes like carbonation, like when you're just drinking carbonated water.
Exactly.
It's like this slightly acidic, slightly salty flavor.
Exactly. Yeah. But the aftertaste is very Pilsnery, I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of bready, a little metallic. Yeah.
I'm disappointed.
I mean, I've had far worse.
Yeah.
So what would you give this?
Maybe I can be kind and give it a 3.
Yeah, I was going to give it a 3. It's not bad. It's
but then I'm being kind.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. And then next up, we have something from Brewski.
Brewski.
And this is what?
Lionel, which is a New England IPA.
Okay. Now, low ABV New England IPAs, I am not a huge fan of. They've been pretty bad in the past.
And the aroma is all over the place. It's
Yeah.
Laundry detergent, lemon.
Just gonna pour. Oh, geez, Louise. So I just poured a little bit more in my glass, and
When we opened the can, it just exploded in foam.
Yeah.
And then I poured for us, and the foam just races to the top.
yeah, I just poured a little bit more in my glass, and it just the carbonation is not an issue with this one.
No.
If anything, it might be over carbonated. But yeah, cheers.
It smells off. Let's see how it tastes.
Slightly lemon, very unmemorable, unflavorful.
But it also tastes like detergent, like washing.
Yeah, I don't get real. I don't
Soap.
feel
It's
soapy.
not soapy really, but I don't like it.
Yeah, it just doesn't. There's nothing there that makes you want to drink it. It just kind of is really. Meh.
Yeah.
It's like boring.
Yeah.
It's like my mouth is falling asleep drinking this beer because it was just so bored with the flavor. This is
2.5.
2.5. Wow, you're really high. I was going to go with like a 1.25
Wow. Okay. 2.
because it's so completely underwhelming on every level.
It's
The carbonation's off, like whereas before we complained the carbonation wasn't there. This one seems to be aggressively carbonated, which is not really adding to the overall flavor or the mouthfeel,
no.
and it just doesn't have really anything going for it.
No.
But our friends over at Friends,
And now we've gotten to the good part of
Yes. the back half.
the good half.
All right, so we have a Cassis Smoothie Sour, which is a smoothie sour with black currants.
Yes.
And
Maybe
yeah, Friends company is kind of known in Sweden for their sour beers. There's these kind of milkshake sour kind of beers. Did you roll this before you opened it?
I turned it. No, did I open that one? Yeah, I think it turned it
Yeah.
upside down.
It says roll and flip can to mix well before use. So
I only flipped. I didn't roll.
oh, we're screwed. All right.
Or maybe I flipped and rolled.
Ooh,
I,
this smells good. This definitely does not smell like a 3.5%.
No, this smells like a way stronger Cassis.
That's yum.
Smoothie sour.
Yeah.
Let's try it. Cheers.
Cheers. Holy crap, that is solid.
This is how you're supposed to do.
You got
Low
the
ABV.
vanilla.
Yes.
You got the tartness. You have like the mouthfeel is just rich and creamy. The slightly acidic tartness on the end just kind of makes your mouth dance. It's kind of makes you kind of happy.
This is one of those beers where the lower ABV does not hurt it in any way.
No, I mean this is solid. If you were to just give me this, and I didn't know it was low ABV, I wouldn't, because there's so many beers like this on the market that are high. They're like 8%,
And they taste exactly
and
like
they taste exactly the same. Man, this is a real winner. I could have this around all summer if I wasn't drinking. This is really, really good.
And I've actually tried this before and I loved it that time as well.
It's also vegan, so if you're a vegan, you can definitely drink it as well. Although if it's not gluten free, so people with celiac are still screwed.
Too bad.
Oh well, they shouldn't be drinking beer anyway.
They don't listen to the show.
Yeah, they shouldn't be drinking beer to begin with.
No, so this one is great. It's at least a 4.
Yeah, 4.45 somewhere in there. High marks for this. All right, and then last but certainly not least is from Bräckeriet, Feos.
Or Pea House.
Or Pea House. Pea House. It's an organic natural beer aged for 18 months in oak barrels, then blended with orange zest, sea buckthorn, and it's a collaboration between Bräckeriet and Folkenbrew. Which, and I can't believe I haven't mentioned this before, all of these beers are their own category in Sweden, which is...
What do you mean?
What would you call these kind of beers if you were to talk about them?
What are we looking for?
Folkboy?
Ah, yeah. That's more complicated.
Is it more complicated?
Yeah, it's, because historically it could be way stronger.
I've always kind of come to have, for me, the association has always been like 3.5% or lower ABV beers. Because there's been a couple of low ABV beer shops that have opened. There's one in Stockholm.
And they all call them folköl.
Yeah, folköl kind of, which is like the people's beer.
People's beer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, technically you could say anything that's mass produced that's consumed in large quantities would be people's beer.
Yeah, but that's not the origins. The origins are like ABV based.
Yeah.
To distinguish it from strong beer or starköl.
You're right.
So yes, of course they are folköl. But it's stopped being a kind of a category.
Okay, I didn't know that could be a category.
Maybe just for me.
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Right.
in my own little brain.
Because you still see events happening. I think Brewski has a place that they collaborate with up in Helsingborg.
It's like a kiosk.
Yeah, it's like a kiosk kind of thing where they, I guess, they import or supply them with a lot of low ABV beers. I've never been there, but I should probably check it out someday.
Yeah, once a year they bring kegs there.
Yeah,
and have like a mini festival, a street festival. That is pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
So you said you had this before.
Yes.
And you liked it.
Yeah, I had both Cassis Smoothie and Bryggeriet Faust. I would never dare to put thoughts into your brain before you taste it.
Well, it smells almost kind of like a lambic a little bit.
Yeah, it really does. It smells like... But Bryggeriet's beers have always kind of smelled this funky, nice, lemony sour, almost lambic.
Yeah. Now...
Cheers.
Cheers. It's quite nice. It's very mild. It's very light. Kind of reminds me of like a table beer.
Yep.
Table beer is traditionally 4.2% and lower.
Something like
I want to say.
And you are usually like farmhouse style.
Yeah. Because the idea was you'd just put a jug of it on the table and everyone would just drink it around.
Yeah.
And it wasn't to get you drunk, but it was because the water was so polluted that you couldn't drink the water, so they would have these low ABV beers that you would drink instead. And then they've become more in fashion in the past 5 years again. It's nice. It's really, really pleasant. I think the aftertaste is a little too much corn maltiness, not malty, but grain.
And it kind of disappears a little bit too quickly.
Yeah, I was expecting a little bit more of the orange zest on the upfront,
and sea buckthorn.
Yeah, which are two very potent flavors.
Yeah,
sea buckthorn's quite sour and usually presents very forward, and then orange, everything smells like orange when you touches an orange.
I remember being more a bigger fan of this.
I mean, it's nice, but it's not on the level of what I've had from them in this range in the past. But again, if you were, if everyone's having wine and you couldn't drink, this is a nice substitution.
Definitely. I still think I'll give it a 3.75.
Yeah, I was thinking 3.75. Overall, still very, very pleasant. I think it's still really, really good, and the price is pretty cheap. It's not $2 or $3, 20, 30 crowns, something like that. So
for that one, I think it was like 60.
Was it 60? I don't think it was that much.
58 Swedish krona, I think.
Was it? Yeah. I thought everything was in the 20 to 40 range.
Some of the beers at that ICA Möllan are pretty pricey.
Yeah, some of them can be.
Yeah.
I saw there was a lot of Dugas beers.
Yep.
Fruited beers, which I didn't get. But you had those.
Yeah.
Would you recommend them? Or they kind of like a weird cider kind of flavor? Or?
Yeah, but I'm kind of not the biggest Dugas fan.
I'm not a huge Dugas fan. I don't not like them. But they're not the the brewery I run to every time they release something.
No, they're stouts.
They kind of go in waves. Like sometimes they'll put out like 4 or 5 IPAs that are pretty good, and then they have a real drop for a while, and they come out again with some really good stuff. And their stouts have been kind of up and down, I think. Yeah. And every once in a while they'll put out a sour, and you're just like, no, I'm good. So this was fun. We always jump into the deep end of the pool with the heaviest of high ABV stouts, and so I thought, well, let's flip it. Let's look at the low end, see what we got down there. And
this is what we found.
Yep.
But the Cassis Smoothie Sour is it's really solid.
Yeah, I would say the only beer I would not get again is the brewski.
And no, I wouldn't get the Omnipolo.
Well, if I was somewhere and they had it, like somebody bought a bunch of alcohol or low alcohol beers, I would definitely not say no to it.
Fair enough.
But it wouldn't be my first go-to. No. I could definitely drink it again. The Cassis Smoothie, that's a winner any day of the week. And the Theos or Faust,
it works.
It's good. Okay. Thanks for listening to us. Check us out online at what'sontappodcast.com, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, and in every podcast player in the world. You can find us.
In every
podcast player in the world.
We come preloaded on podcast players now. It is.
That's what it is.
That's pretty nice.
We are part of the install package.
Cool.
So until next time.
Keep drinking, you dum-dums.